the Atlanta Falcons had a busy week, man. So the Atlanta Falcons have traded for Matthew Judon, and they traded with the Pats. If you remember, the Pats and the Patriots were the Patriots and the Matthew Judon were having contract issues, and so they actually made a trade for it. The Atlanta Falcons will receive a 2025 third-round pick. Matthew Judon was great last year. G-Mike, man, what's your thoughts on the Pats making this move?
Man, I feel like the Pats really wanted to get rid of him, and I think it was vice versa. I think they were both on the same turmoil, and they just wanted to get this done. He wanted to get out of there. They wanted him to get out of there because they traded him away for a third round pick. And this guy's an amazing pass rusher, bro. Pro Bowler multiple times, bro. He got him to the playoffs a few times too. And it's like, dude, man, you lose an edge rusher like this, it's pretty significant to your team, man. But he goes to the Falcons. He gives the Falcons what they really needed in the draft, what they really should have drafted for in the draft.
Oh, hold on. They took care of that. They drafted a quarterback.
Yeah, that wasn't the filling spot they needed. It definitely wasn't the filling spot they needed. So now they bring in an edge rusher where they really needed it on defense and a big-time Pro Bowler, and he's going to help out that Falcons defense for sure.
Bro, Brandon, this is your division, buddy. What's your thoughts on this one?
I mean, Bucks, y'all better start taking notes, man. You better call to the New York Jets. I hear Hassan Reddick's having some issues with them right now. You guys better get on the phone because Falcons are. This isn't, as we're going to talk about soon. This hasn't been the only move that they've made. They're being aggressive in trades, and they're trying to bring in guys that will help them and will shore up the areas, like George said, that they did not address in the draft. So, they might be a division rival, but I gotta tip the hat to them. That was a very smart move getting Judon, and the move that we're about to talk about next.
Yeah, especially you were just talking about it. They weren't done. As pretty much as the ink dried, the Falcons made another major move, and they got Justin Simmons. And honestly, a lot of people I feel like forget how good that dude was. Actually, like as of 2023, he had, I believe it was 3 sacks and an interception. The guy was just kind of waiting his time out in Denver, and they didn't want him anymore. G-Mike, bro, like how do you feel about this, man? Like they made 2 major moves. Do you like this or what?
I love it for the Falcons, man. They have, they had a good defense last year. They already had 2 secondary players that were, one was a Pro Bowler and one I think was considered a runner-up for a Pro Bowl. And bringing in Justin Simmons, a great safety like that, which I was super surprised on why he was so late in signing with the team this late in the offseason. Like, to me, it was like, it was a no-brainer. Like, someone should pick this guy up. And the Falcons just decided to do just that. And now their defense have improved from a tier 2 defense to, in my opinion, a low tier 1 defense.
Yeah, you know what's wild about what they did? Did you realize, and I had to look this up even to confirm this, do you realize the last time the Falcons had an actual double-digit sack person was Vic Beasley back in 2016, and he had 15. Though it was more of an outlier for his career. Since that point, he's never broken double digits. So the Falcons have not had an actual double-digit sack person in damn near almost a decade. So getting Matthew Judon. Now, Matthew Judon did come off a bicep tear, so I understand that he was out. He only played 4 games last year, but the guy was an absolute game wrecker. And let's face it, the Falcons needed to get some pass rushing. They were one of the least sacked teams in the entire league. Brandon, what's your thoughts on the Justin Simmons signing?
It's a big move for them. Honestly, it's one that if they don't have the best safety duo in the league, then it's top 2. I can't really name a lot of other teams that on the back end of that secondary are stacked like they are.
Dolphins.
I don't know, man. I mean, that's 2 Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber talents you got back there. And the thing is, both of them, their styles kind of complement each other really well. Neither one of them is really a traditional in the box safety. Neither one of them is that traditional, zone. Like they are kind of hybrids. They can kind of do a bunch of roles and they really can kind of bounce off each other exceptionally well, have great ball hawking skills. So, that the safety duo that they have right there is going to complement them in addition to the pass rush as well. Like when you have a great secondary that can lock down receivers, give quarterbacks extra time that they have to find to make those throws. That's going to give the pass rush more time to be able to do their thing, get back to the quarterback, put some pressure on him. And that's just, again, these 2 moves complement each other so well. And again, Atlanta just nailed it right there with these 2 trades.
So with getting Justin Simmons and figuring out the pass rushing situation they had, do you think this makes up for not drafting, because they had the opportunity to draft arguably the best pass rusher in the league in the draft, and they went with Penix? Do you think this makes up for that move? Mike, I know you have strong thoughts on this one, bro. What's your thoughts?
My bad, Brandon. But I feel like it does make up for it, but then it doesn't in other areas, and I'll be specific. So it does make up for it that they made some more moves in the offseason. They realized that they didn't draft as well as they thought they did, and they make up for it by getting these 2 players and improving their defense like they should have done from the get-go. So you do a good move there, but other aspects, you guys do not know how to draft. You guys need to learn how to draft, and that is the front office issue, and you guys need to fix that issue, because in the upcoming years, that could really bite you in the ass.
Yep. Yeah, and I will say this, for short term, this, I think it makes up for a lot of the things that they did not do in the draft. However, long term, you got 2 players that are either at 30, approaching 30, or just like slightly over 30. They're at that stage where you're only going to be able to hold on to them probably as long as you hold on to Kirk Cousins. So you are going to eventually have to find guys to replace these players. So, and if they're drafting this past year is any indication on how they're going to draft in the future, it's not looking bright.
Well, I mean, Judon is, I believe, 32 years old, so he's not a young buck, but he also is coming off his best season of his career. He was, and for the last few years, he's been one of the top pass rushers in the league. So I do love the pick, or the trade. And honestly, let's face it, I mean, a 3rd-round pick is a lot, but for the Patriots, I feel like that is right up their alley. Like, 3rd-round pick, they will find a dime in the rough. Like, I think this deal works out for everybody. That's, the Belichick era is over, so maybe they're not going to find the diamonds in the rough in the 3rd round. But how many times have the Patriots taken a 6th round, a 7th round, a 5th round pick and made them into a superstar? So I like the trade, the deal for both teams here. But I feel like the Falcons are in a win now mode, and they should be, because let's face it, Kirk Cousins isn't getting any younger. And they have a damn good team in a winnable division. No offense, Brandon, but they have every opportunity that they could win this division. I did pick your Bucs, but with these moves, man, they're finally shoring up the defense, and that's a big deal for them, because they were arguably one of the worst defenses. That was part of why they were losing games, because they were behind so much.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And the Bucs are going to really have to look at. They really have to make sure they hone in this year. They have to make sure all the guys that they not only drafted but also re-signed, signed in free agency, are playing up to their potential. Coaching is going to be such a big thing as well. Like, Coach Bowles is going to have to really scheme and adjust now, and have to worry. And Liam Cohen, new offensive coordinator as well, he's going to have to scheme and adjust for this added pass rush. The fact that now you've got the best safety duo in the division right across the ball from you, it's going to be a lot tougher. And however, I'm not going to sit here and say that these moves necessarily put them over the top, but I will say, if it was a close battle before, it's even closer now. This is literally going to be, if I had to pick, I would say both games are going to be decided between the Bucs and Falcons this year. I would say by less than a touchdown. It's going to be that close.
Woo-hoo! That is some bold picking.
Yeah, and it's pretty tough to say that the Buccaneers will be up there with them, man, because when you compare the 2 teams, right, you compare both defenses, I would say they're kind of neck and neck right there with defense for sure. But when it comes to offense, man, I just think that Atlanta's star-studded offense just takes it over the top with the Buccaneers. And it's not to say that the Buccaneers offense is trash, but if you compare position to position, I think the Falcons really do take it.
You know what I'm really excited about this year for the Falcons, since we're talking about them right now, is Kyle Pitts, man. I'm excited to finally see this guy have an accurate, like, legitimate quarterback finally, because let's face it, dude, Kyle Pitts is a freakish athlete when it comes to, if you look at that guy on paper, that guy is absolutely a stud, and he's literally never had a real quarterback in his entire career, even going back to college. I mean, we had Kyle Trask back at Florida, and, Kyle Trask is a backup to the Bucs. I think he's a great quarterback, but let's face it, the guy has never had a legit quarterback since we've seen him. This guy, I believe, is 6'6", 250, and, like, what is he, negative 1% body fat or something like that? Like, this guy is just an absolute stud of an athlete. And, dude, it is going to be so great to finally see that guy finally get a legit quarterback. Brandon, buddy, I know you hate hearing about this one, man, but, like, Kyle Pitts, bro, you got to be kind of nervous.
Oh no, for sure. Like you can't take an opponent like Kyle Pitts for like you can't take him lightly at all. He's going to be somebody that is going to give again the Bucs a lot of fits in terms of scheming and trying to figure out who's going to best cover him. I would say that it's not going to. I don't think that he's necessarily going to be running all over us. I still think that we do have guys that can lock him up. I think that our safety duo, we've got Antoine Winfield is still back there. He's an All-Pro stud. Jordan Whitehead is another great complementary piece as well in the box that plays a little bit bigger than he actually is. And then you've also got Levante David, probably the most underrated player or linebacker in the NFL for the last decade, who not only has great athletic ability, but is also probably one of the smartest defenders in the league currently. So, it's going to be tough game planning around him, Drake London, Bijan Robinson for sure. But I think that we still definitely have the tools on this defense. I think if I'm the Bucs, though, the one thing I would do, take a page out of their playbook, get in touch with the Jets, try to see what you can get try to see what you have to give up for and make that trade happen. You already lost out on Randy Gregory. He's not coming to training camp. He's not going to be a part of this team. So why not just try to make up for that, get some pass rush help, see if maybe, if you can give away like a 3rd round pick for Hassan Reddick, take it. Why not?